Learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube can be pretty difficult, but it's even more difficult to learn how to solve it quickly. There's a lot of effort that goes into getting quicker times, but there's ways to make it easier. When you first start learning the CFOP method, you'll realize that it's kind of similar to the beginner's method, but it is a little bit more complex. The cross step in the CFOP method remains mostly the same as the beginner's method. However, the other steps, F2L, OLL, and PLL, are a lot different from the beginner's method. Something important to know when learning F2L is that every algorithm operates on a cycle. After completing a set of moves a certain amount of times, the cube will eventually go back to its original state. For example, this 4-move algorithm requires 6 repetitions in order for the cube to go back to its original state. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You also need to remember that while doing a cycle, a reverse of an algorithm will just minus a step. So if I'm at 1 right now, and I do a reverse, obviously, it just returns to its original state. This all seems pretty obvious, but it's important to learn if you really want to make sense of and understand your F2L. For example, here, I already have a solved corner piece, but I need to get this edge piece in. I could just do this, like in the beginner's method, or I could do this without having to turn the cube. And here, I have a corner piece that's 2 algorithms away from being solved. Its edge piece is over here though. So what I can do here is I can prepare this edge piece to be solved with these 2 algorithms that I'm about to do. So I can just turn the top layer twice so that it ends up here. And then when I do 1 algorithm, it ends up back here. And when I do 2, these line up and they get placed. Learning F2L can be pretty difficult, but you need to learn that most of it is just learning how to manipulate the pieces without really using a set algorithm to solve the whole thing. The step after F2L is OLL. It's a pretty complicated step, so I'm not really going to be covering it. Just know that the main purpose of OLL is to set you up for PLL by turning the entire top face yellow. Similarly to PLL, OLL is done using 1 algorithm that is determined by what you see on the top face. OLL has 57 different algorithms that you can do for each individual case. However, there's a more simple version of OLL that can be done called 2Look, which only requires 10 algorithms to be memorized. Moving on to PLL, there's also a 2Look version of this step, but the full version of this step is much easier to learn than the full version of OLL. Either way, I'd recommend learning the 2Looks for both OLL and PLL, then learning full PLL, and then full OLL, as that's the order that they go from easiest to hardest. When learning the PLL algorithms, it's important to remember that a lot of the algorithms actually include sets of moves that you're already familiar with from previous steps. For example, the T-perm and the GD-perm both begin with this set of moves, the righty algorithm. When you learn more algorithms, you'll keep recognizing certain sets of moves that reoccur in other algorithms. For example, the RA and JB perms both begin with this set of moves. Even though it's not a common set of moves that you learn in the beginner's method, it's a simple set of moves that reoccurs in some other algorithms. Patterns in the algorithms like this really help you learn the perms quicker than if you were just learning them from scratch. Learning 21 algorithms for just 1 step of the cube seems kind of annoying, but once you learn how to practice these, it sort of gets easier as you go on. The final thing I have to say about PLL is that you really want to master each algorithm before moving on to another one. Continue practicing each algorithm until you've really got it down and can do it quickly without making a mistake. The final thing I have to say is that watching this video isn't going to immediately make you better, so you're going to need to keep practicing, keep doing those algorithms, and eventually you'll be really, really fast at it. Thank you for watching. I hope I helped someone, and good luck.